It's a
sound. Let's go, Webbie. Come on, man.
It's a clap for the sound thing. Doug Peters, welcome to the MSUM Dragons Podcast today.
Hey, here we go. We're fired up right now. We're clapping all over the place.
It's a sound thing. So if we ever get off, I can clap and see the little spike in the audio, and then I see it's an editing trick.
Good to know. Learn something new every day. Who knew we were going to learn that on the Dragons Podcast today?
We've done so many podcasts, and I clap before every single one of them. It's taking you that long to notice that I clap every time?
Well, no, I just like to clap back.
That's fair.
In a positive way, not like the negative clap back.
Sometimes. I mean, we edit some of this out. So, so it's been a while since you've joined us on the MSUM Dragons Podcast, and a ton of things have happened since. One of the biggest ones that I would be remiss without asking you about would be how the Governor Walz's executive order has impacted our day-to-day, as I know you've been in a lot of meetings and trying to figure a lot of these things out. So how did the governor's orders affect Dragon athletics specifically?
Well, I think in a couple different ways, Webbie. First of all, it was, I guess the word I'll just use, it was crushing to a lot of people, just in the sense that the Minnesota Department of Health and the governor of Minnesota came out with some mandates that they believe strongly they needed to put in place to keep our health and safety as a priority. Yeah, so when you look at the global pandemic and you look at what we're in, it's pretty easy to get caught in what it means to our day-to-day operations. At the same time, though, just trying to remember, hey, this is happening because there's some serious stuff going on. And getting into the conversations about where sports fits into that and where slowing the spread down is important and why it's important. We're in that space. And so keeping that first and foremost, I mean, it's just crushing to think that our region and our state is in that space where there are sick people and there are people that are dying, and we've got to keep that in mind. So that's probably the most sobering piece that came out of it, at least for me personally. But then it got into how do we keep intercollegiate athletics operating, and the Minnesota Department of Health, lots of consultation with different places, looking at different resources, decided that if we were going to continue to practice and compete, we needed to get into COVID testing 3 times a week. That was a little bit of the word I used was crushing, just in the sense that previously the highest guidelines were the NCAA Sports Science Institute. So that's what we've been planning on. We're like, that's the gold standard. If we hit that, we're going to be good. So a lot of work went into making that happen. And then the bar got raised on us again a little sooner than we were ready for it to happen. Had to cough there, Webbie.
Sorry, but I think you're right. My question was about the executive order and didn't really pretense, hey, there's bigger than size things happening in our world right now, where the conversations of literally in the world rates are being compared to in our backyard. And it's sobering for sure. But as you said, we were prepared for the one-time testing kind of situation around our interpretations of returning to play and competition. And now it's not just 3 times a week while competing, it's all athletes all the time. How is that kind of, I know the speed, like how do you, like the logistics, and I don't like to get too logistical in the show. I like to keep it more than a game, but I think it's important to understand that it's a process. It's not like Amazon 2-day shipping and they're here overnight.
No.
There's a lot of things that go into that. So can you give us a little bit of a look of what that process has been like to prepare and then re-prepare now for the new kind of expectations?
Well, I always like to say Chad Markson does all the stuff I don't like to do. And that really means he does all the stuff I'm not very good at. So he'd been taking the lead on securing our testing and working with Andy Scott and Rhonda Peterson and Keith Wiedrich about what was the best route for us to go. And we had that in place, getting ready to start that per what we decided with the Northern Sun Conference, and then trying to speed that up and change that around really quickly. And I think we've been able to navigate that. We did have to pause. So ultimately I ended up ending our fall semester workouts for our spring sports and our winter sports. And they were mostly through what they were planning anyway. And then for our winter sports, we paused until Monday, November 30th. So we'll resume practice on November 30th, where I think we've got testing in place 3 times a week if everything shows up that we've ordered. So that's that backside of it, just the time on the phone and the stress of trying to make sure that we're going to have the supplies that we need to do it, and then also have the time to figure out how we're going to do it. No one in our building has ever done a COVID test or on a person before. And so as we jump into that, there's a learning curve that goes with that. And that adds a little bit more stress onto the layers of what's already there. I feel like we've done a pretty good job navigating it, and we've kept our spirits pretty high. We've kind of gone back and forth a little bit, and I'm excited that we'll be able to start practice on Monday.
Start practice with a eventual goal of safely returning back to competition in the 2021 season, which I know has been our goal throughout all of this. And as you circle those dates on January 2nd and 3rd for Dragon basketball to return to competition, what does all this mean and look like for actual gameplay as we now see college basketball on television? I got to admit, I was watching a few games today just to see how the chairs were set up. And you know me, I'm into the logistics and I get going down some rabbit holes. But what would have been some of the bigger conversations on the NSIC level that you can share with us about returning to play, and some of what are the kind of the trickle down decisions that are at the top, rather than me worrying about where chairs are here at the bottom?
Well, that's definitely part of it. As we look at it, there is a return to competition working group within the NSIC where I had a fantastic 2-hour call yesterday, I say with a slight smirk on my face, because it's hard work and trying to consider all those things. The important part is you look at that big place is we decided we wanted to compete as much as we could. We wanted to keep everybody safe and healthy, and we wanted to do everything we could to have championships. So we made those big decisions, and then we're trying to figure out how to make all of those things happen. And it gets a little difficult because you got 5 states, you got public schools, you got private schools. It gets messy, and it's trying to find the common ground and the baseline and build off of that. And I think we did that by coming together with schedules for men's and women's basketball and wrestling, working on the track and the swimming piece. And then it gets into all the protocols. I mean, you're kind of chuckling about where the chairs are at, but that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Where are people going to be at? How are we going to clean? How much of a gap is there going to be between games? All of those conversations have been happening. And I feel thankful, since we are in that Thanksgiving season, I'm thankful for my colleagues in the NSIC. Is we've pushed, we've pulled, and I think we've landed in some pretty good places. And by the end of next week, hopefully we put our recommendations in front of the board of directors, which is all of our presidents and chancellors. And we've got those I's dotted and T's crossed. And then we can actually try and make happen what we decided we should do.
Yeah, that concept of 5 states with different rules and regulations and stances to come to an agreement to get games that look at least somewhat similar on a weekly basis is daunting, I'm sure. And I know you've spent a lot of time in front of this computer to do so. But I think you have a great point there, is thankful for the group of people who are working on it. And I know, we got to go through Thanksgiving, and it's coming. So, what would Doug Peters be thankful for most right now? And I know there's a lot of things.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of things.
Mind?
Yeah, I think if you ask me to put it into words right now in the space, because I'm sitting in my office, I'm thankful for the Dragon community and the caringness of the Dragon community about we talk about what we believe in Dragon athletics, and one of those things is that we're all part of something bigger than ourselves. And that's really just describing what's gone on in Nemzik Hall and all our Dragon teams for literally decades. It has been, we are part of something bigger than ourselves, and taking responsibility and doing what we can to help and do what we can to serve. So thankful for that. Thankful for the opportunities that environment has created our student athletes. Last night before I went to bed, I was just scrolling through social media and seeing a student athlete, a former student athlete, just posting, "Hey, I started my dream job today."
Judith Robinson.
Yeah, in the scrubs.
Shout out, Judith.
Shout out to Judith, putting the scrubs on and have that mask there, and just think about, that's why I come to work every day. I love to win. There's no doubt about it. At the same time, though, when I get to see those posts from like Judith Robinson Nick Eklund today posted something in from a fighter jet.
If you're on social media, go check out Nick Eklund's post. I think it was on Instagram, from fighter jet training, as he's in the U.S. Navy. We did a story on him not long ago, but literally a shot from inside the cockpit with fighters on both sides. Like,
right.
You want to talk about a dream job? Look at that guy. I mean, that's so cool. So yeah, for sure.
It is. Plus all the alums I see out there that are teachers and in the healthcare industry, I'm just thankful to be part of that environment and that community that really provides people the opportunity to figure out what they're passionate about, what they want to spend their life doing, and then gives them some tools so they can go out there and be successful. That's what I'm thankful for today, Jon Webbie.
Yeah, man. It is very humbling to be a part of that process. And as we think about things that are a little bit bigger than ourselves, just to have the opportunity to work every day is something that we can't take for granted anymore. There's a lot of people in tough shape right now, and we're hoping the best for everybody out of this situation. But I feel very thankful for being able to work in a meaningful way around wonderful student athletes each and every day. I would probably also have to put in health. As we've talked in the background, I've had multiple family members, including my 94-year-old grandmother, have COVID throughout all of this, and she's safe and doing just fine. So I definitely got to be thankful for health and family as I look back at this Thanksgiving of things that stand out to me as well. But I know a lot of people have stepped up in a lot of big ways within Dragon Athletics. Athletes, and just thankful for their graces. We know it's messy.
Right.
We know it's been difficult, and we're not going to make every decision perfectly or right on time or anticipating any of it.
Speak for yourself, Webbie. I get them all perfect.
You just have to make the decisions. I just have to execute, but that's the better part of it. But no, it's a lot of wonderful things that I don't think I've taken. I really made sure not to take anything for granted after everything that's been thrown at us this year. And I just feel really thankful more than ever, I think, for what I do and who we do it for, and the people around us that enable us to do so. The campus community entirely, President Blackhurst, and our families that allow us to do this wonderful thing. I think it's really, really cool. And then people who have stepped up in holes this year of, we talked about Swen stepping up a little bit with helping us out with laundry when Bo was not hanging around. It was just weird not having Bo in the hallways, but he'll be back soon, I hope. And, athletic training for sure, and how they've stepped up and helped guide this process. Some new faces. And, fall signings, we just had fall signing day, and we had a lot of new Dragons in a crazy environment who are now coming to MSUM, and it was fun to celebrate new starts with them for the first time. And that was kind of a cool experience, and some familiar faces popped up there as well, which was kind of fun to see.
Yep, it is always kind of fun to see who's going to join the Dragon family. And, as we talk about the Dragon family and we talk about Dragon Pride, I'll tell you what, we have extended the fan box sale, Webbie. We did an early Black Friday sale. I twisted Marcuson's arm because he's such a tightwad. I twisted his arm. So we have extended the fan box sale a little bit longer. We've still got some left. There are a limited number. So if any of you are interested in the fan box, it's got a fantastic Dragon scarf. It's got a baseball cap in it. It's got a 3x5 foot flag in it. There's some awesome stuff in there that is only available in that fan box. So take advantage of the fired up fan box.
And it's not just for people, apparently. We've had 3 or 4 people post with their dogs in the apparel and the scarves and all that kind of stuff. It's MSUMDragons.com/box. And the Black Friday coupon code, which I believe Marcuson will extend. And I'll put everything down in the show notes as well, so that you can get a hold of your fan box as soon as possible. But there's a coupon code. Take advantage of that for sure. And there's special gifts in there, including possible gift cards from sponsors. So it might even, might be awesome to open up that box. And I know there's a lot of them stacked in Marcuson's office ready to go. So
hey, that's right. Speaking of those sponsors, we've thrown in some Buffalo Wild Wing gift cards. We've done some Shields gift cards. Some Comet Cash, Herberts and Gerberts. There's some fun surprises in some of those boxes. So I'm excited, and I have been excited. We've gotten a couple emails from people that have gotten things. That's fun to see.
And I'll do the shameless plug part of it as well then, because the Dragon Way show ended last night. We did a 6-episode sprint. So, we had that conundrum of, we're not going to play football this year. How do we, talk about Dragon athletics and what storylines can we pull out? And we really came up with a great idea with the Dragon Way and talking about the path and process of Dragons football, and created this Zoom hour-long show piece that just got better each and every week. And it was really kind of cool to see it all come to a fruition last night when we did the St. Cloud game from 2018 to go to the Mineral Water Bowl and accomplish all these historic things that haven't been done in a long time or hadn't been done before. So if you please want to check that out, all 6 episodes are at MSUMDragons.com/thedragonway. So you got a plug, I got a plug. Man, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and to everybody that's listening to this.